The Scar were a species that thrived on dominance. Known across the galaxy for their unmatched hunting prowess, they had conquered countless worlds, subjugating their inhabitants, and claiming the title of apex predators. Their society was built around the principles of strength and survival, where only the most capable were revered. From a young age, every Scar was trained to hunt, to track, and to eliminate their prey with ruthless efficiency. Their advanced technology only enhanced their natural abilities, making them a formidable force that few could resist. To the Scar, the universe was a vast hunting ground, and they were the undisputed kings of the food chain. Their reputation as the galaxy's most fearsome predators was well earned. The Scar had faced and defeated some of the most dangerous creatures in existence, from massive beasts on inhospitable worlds to cunning predators with deadly instincts. Each conquest only solidified their belief in their superiority. They considered themselves the perfect hunters, a species evolved to dominate. Arrogance had become a cornerstone of their culture, and they viewed other life forms with a mixture of disdain and indifference. The idea that any creature could challenge them was laughable, and they relished every opportunity to prove their dominance. When the Scar set their sights on Earth, it was with the same confidence that had carried them through countless victories. They saw the planet as nothing more than a collection of weak and primitive creatures, unworthy of their full attention. The reports they had gathered on Earth's fauna did little to impress them. The larger animals, like elephants and lions, seemed formidable enough, but the Scar were confident that these creatures would pose no real challenge. As for the smaller animals, they dismissed them outright, seeing them as insignificant and unworthy of consideration. Earth, in their eyes, was a planet of prey, and they intended to hunt it to their heart's content. The Scar invasion began with a display of calculated precision. Their ships descended upon Earth, landing in remote areas where they could begin their hunt without interference. They moved quickly, capturing or killing the larger animals they encountered. Elephants, rhinos, and even lions fell before their advanced weapons and superior tactics. The Scar hunters reveled in their success, their arrogance growing with each kill. They laughed at the idea that Earth's creatures could ever pose a threat to them. To the Scar, this was just another easy conquest, another planet that would soon bear the mark of their dominance. As the days passed, the Scar became even more dismissive of Earth's wildlife. The ease with which they had captured and subdued the planet's most formidable creatures only reinforced their belief in their superiority. They began to grow bored with the hunt, searching for something more challenging. The Scar commanders, eager to find a creature that could at least provide some entertainment, ordered their hunters to explore deeper into the wilds. They wanted to test their skills against whatever Earth had to offer, confident that nothing on this planet could truly challenge them. In their arrogance, the Scar failed to recognize the danger lurking in the form of a small, unassuming creature. They had conquered massive beasts on other worlds, and they believed that size and strength were the ultimate measures of a worthy adversary. But on Earth, their greatest challenge was about to come from an unexpected source, one that would shatter their illusions of superiority and force them to confront the limits of their own arrogance. The honey badger, or Mellivora capensis, is a creature that defies expectations. Despite its small size, standing only about a foot tall at the shoulder and weighing in at around 20 to 35 pounds, the honey badger is renowned for its fearlessness and tenacity. This unassuming animal has a reputation that far exceeds its physical dimensions. It is a creature that will face down lions, raid beehives for honey, and take on venomous snakes without hesitation. Its thick skin is tough enough to withstand bites and stings, and its ferocious nature means it will fight back against any threat, no matter how large or intimidating. On Earth, the honey badger is respected and feared by even the most dangerous predators, a testament to its relentless spirit and indomitable will. The Scar, with their focus on physical prowess and advanced weaponry, had no reason to see the honey badger as anything more than a minor nuisance. When they first encountered the small, stocky animal, it appeared to be nothing more than a trivial distraction. The Scar hunters, who had been searching for a new challenge, barely registered the honey badger's presence. Its small size and unremarkable appearance led them to believe it would be an easy target, a quick kill that would do little more than pass the time. They approached it with the same arrogance they had shown towards every other creature on Earth, expecting it to flee or submit like the rest. However, as the Scar attempted to capture the honey badger, they were met with an unexpected response. The honey badger did not run. It did not cower. Instead, it charged at the Scar hunters with a ferocity that took them completely by surprise. The small animal moved with startling speed and agility, dodging their advanced weaponry and using its powerful claws and teeth to fight back. The Scar, accustomed to creatures either fleeing or falling quickly under their assault, found themselves in a battle they had not anticipated. The honey badger attacked without fear, aiming for the vulnerable spots on the Scar's armor, and even going for their faces with its sharp claws. The Scar's advanced technology, designed to subdue much larger and more physically imposing creatures, proved ineffective against the honey badger's relentless assault. Their energy weapons were difficult to aim at such a small, fast-moving target, and the honey badger's thick skin and sheer determination allowed it to withstand the blows that did land. The Scar hunters, who had expected a quick and easy victory, were forced into a defensive position, struggling to fend off the honey badger's attacks. The more they tried to subdue it, the more aggressive and relentless it became, refusing to back down even when outnumbered. The Scar were left in a state of shock and confusion. They had never encountered a creature so small that could resist their might so effectively. The idea that this tiny animal could stand up to their advanced technology and superior tactics was unthinkable. Yet here they were, being pushed back by a creature they had dismissed as insignificant. The honey badger's defiance was more than just a physical challenge. It was a direct affront to the Scar's belief in their own superiority. They had never been met with such stubborn resistance, and they found themselves struggling to comprehend how such a small, seemingly weak animal could be causing them so much trouble. As the honey badger continued its relentless assault, the Scar's initial confidence began to erode. They were forced to confront the reality that they had grossly underestimated this creature. Their disbelief quickly turned to frustration as they realized that their usual tactics were not going to work. The Scar, who had never before been challenged in such a way, were now faced with the unsettling truth that Earth's creatures were not as weak as they had assumed, and that the honey badger, in particular, was a force to be reckoned with. The Scar, who had initially dismissed the honey badger as an insignificant obstacle, quickly found themselves consumed by frustration. What began as a minor distraction had evolved into a full-blown obsession. The honey badger's refusal to submit or flee in the face of their superior technology was a direct challenge to the Scar's pride, something they could not ignore. Each failed attempt to capture or kill the creature only fueled their determination to bring it down. The Scar leadership, unwilling to accept defeat at the hands of a creature they deemed inferior, authorized the deployment of more advanced weapons and traps, believing that their superior technology would eventually prevail. The Scar's efforts to subdue the honey badger became increasingly elaborate. They deployed energy nets designed to immobilize larger, more powerful creatures. They set up traps that utilized electromagnetic fields to disorient and incapacitate their prey. But the honey badger proved to be a formidable adversary, even against these advanced tactics. It dodged the energy nets with uncanny speed, slipping through gaps in the field before the Scar could react. The electromagnetic traps, which had been effective against other creatures, seemed to have little impact on the honey badger, which shook off the effects and continued its relentless attacks. The Scar, who had never encountered such resilience in a creature of this size, were left reeling from their repeated failures. Despite the escalation of the Scar's efforts, the honey badger's defiance only grew stronger. It seemed to anticipate the traps set for it, using its environment to outmaneuver the Scar hunters at every turn. The creature's knowledge of the terrain allowed it to strike from unexpected angles, catching the Scar off guard time and again. It burrowed through the earth to avoid capture, emerged from hiding places with sudden ferocity, and used the landscape to its advantage, turning the very ground beneath the Scar's feet into a weapon. The honey badger's attacks were relentless, its ferocity leaving the Scar stunned. No matter what they did, the creature refused to be subdued. The honey badger's continued resistance began to take a psychological toll on the Scar. Accustomed to quick and decisive victories, they were unprepared for an enemy that fought back with such tenacity. The more they tried to overpower the honey badger, the more it seemed to fight back, as if fueled by the very challenge the scar presented. What the scar had once viewed as a simple hunt had turned into a battle for survival, with the hunters now fearing the very creature they had sought to dominate. Each encounter with the honey badger left the scar more desperate, their confidence eroded by the sheer determination of this small, unyielding adversary. As the conflict dragged on, internal conflicts began to emerge within the scar ranks. Some hunters, once so sure of their superiority, started to question the wisdom of their mission on Earth. They had come to the planet expecting an easy victory, but instead, they were locked in a struggle that seemed to have no end. The honey badger's ability to resist and even counter their most advanced tactics led some scar to doubt their own capabilities. Whispers of retreat and calls for a reassessment of their mission grew louder, as the once united scar forces began to splinter under the pressure. The realization that they might have underestimated not just the honey badger, but the entire planet, began to sink in, leading to a sense of desperation that threatened to unravel their entire operation. The scar, who had always believed in their invincibility, were now facing a crisis of confidence, one that no amount of advanced technology could easily resolve. The scar, now fully consumed by their obsession to defeat the honey badger, prepared for one final, all-out assault. This time, they brought their most advanced technology and strategies into play, determined to end this humiliating chapter on their own terms. They deployed high-energy containment fields, capable of trapping and immobilizing even the largest and most dangerous beasts they had ever encountered. Drones equipped with precision weapons hovered above, ready to strike the moment the honey badger was within range. The scar forces surrounded the creature, cornering it in what they believed was an inescapable trap. This was to be their definitive victory, a demonstration that no creature could defy the might of the scar. But the honey badger, even when cornered, refused to give in. Instead of retreating, it attacked with an intensity that the scar had never witnessed before. The creature's ferocity was beyond anything they had anticipated. It tore through their containment fields with raw strength, evading the drone strikes with an agility that defied its size. The honey badger moved like a blur, exploiting every weakness in the scar's formation, its claws and teeth leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Scar soldiers, who had once viewed this mission as routine, found themselves on the defensive, their advanced armor and weapons proving ineffective against the relentless onslaught. The honey badger inflicted severe damage on the scar forces, taking out their drones, disabling their equipment, and even injuring the hunters who had once been so confident in their superiority. As the battle raged, a critical moment of realization dawned on the scar. This was not just a fight against a single, unusually resilient animal. This was a confrontation with the very essence of Earth itself. The honey badger, in its relentless defiance, represented the untamed and indomitable spirit of the planet, a force that could not be subdued by mere technology or brute strength. The scar began to understand that they were not dealing with a simple hunt gone wrong, but with a planet that rejected their presence entirely. Every tactic they employed, every piece of advanced technology they deployed, was rendered useless by the sheer will of this small but unstoppable creature. It was as if the entire world was fighting back through this one indomitable being, and the scar, for the first time, saw that they were outmatched. The realization that they could not win this battle led the scar to a bitter conclusion: their survival depended on retreat. Continuing to fight would only lead to more casualties, more humiliation, and possibly the complete decimation of their forces. The decision to retreat was not made lightly. It was a harsh blow to the scar's pride, a bitter pill that they were forced to swallow. The once proud hunters, who had come to Earth with the expectation of easy victories and new trophies, now had to face the reality that they had been bested by a creature they had dismissed as insignificant. The honey badger had proven to be more than just an adversary. It was a symbol of their own hubris and the dangers of underestimating a world they did not understand. As the scar prepared to leave Earth, the psychological impact of their defeat weighed heavily on them. The humiliation of being forced to retreat from a planet they had so thoroughly underestimated was a stain on their honor, one that would not be easily forgotten. The scar, who had prided themselves on their invincibility, now had to grapple with the reality that they had been bested by a single, small creature that embodied everything they had failed to see about Earth. The retreat was a stark admission of their failure, and as they left the planet, they were left to contemplate the lessons learned from their encounter with the honey badger, a creature that had shattered their illusions of superiority and forced them to confront their own limitations. The Scar's return to their home world was a somber affair, marked by the heavy burden of their defeat. The once proud hunters, who had left with the intent to dominate and conquer, now bore the scars of their encounter with the honey badger, both physical and psychological. Their ships, usually symbols of triumph and power, returned battered and damaged, a stark reminder of the battle they had fought and lost. The Scar themselves, normally exuding confidence and superiority, were subdued, their pride shattered by the reality of their failure. They had faced countless enemies across the galaxy, but never had they been forced to retreat in such a manner. The scars from their encounter with the honey badger ran deep, not just in their bodies, but in their spirits. As the Scar reintegrated into their society, word of their defeat quickly spread. The news was met with a range of reactions: disbelief, shock, and even fear. For a species that had always prided itself on its dominance, the idea that they had been bested by a creature from a planet they had deemed insignificant was almost inconceivable. Many Scar struggled to accept the reality of what had happened, questioning how a small, seemingly weak animal could have inflicted such a humiliating defeat. Some refused to believe the reports, convinced that there must have been some mistake, while others felt a growing unease, wondering if their species was as invincible as they had always believed. The tale of the honey badger, once a mere curiosity, became a subject of serious discussion, as the Scar grappled with the implications of their encounter. The story of the Scar's defeat at the hands of the honey badger quickly evolved into a cautionary tale, spreading throughout their society. It was told and retold in hunting lodges, military academies, and among the general populace, each retelling adding new details to the already incredible account. The honey badger, once unknown to the Scar, became a symbol of the dangers of arrogance and underestimation. The tale served as a reminder that strength and power were not always defined by size or technology, and that even the smallest of creatures could pose a significant threat if underestimated. The story of the honey badger became a lesson in humility, one that the Scar would not soon forget. It was a tale that challenged their very identity as the galaxy's apex predators, forcing them to reconsider their approach to future conquests. Over time, the Scar's perspective on Earth and its inhabitants began to shift. No longer did they view the planet as a simple hunting ground or its creatures as easy prey. The honey badger had taught them a lesson that resonated deeply within their culture: respect for the unknown. They came to recognize that Earth was a planet unlike any they had encountered, its creatures imbued with a resilience and ferocity that defied their expectations. The honey badger, in particular, earned a place of honor in Scar society, its image becoming a symbol of the challenges and dangers that could arise from underestimating an adversary. The Scar, who had once seen themselves as invincible, now approached the galaxy with a newfound sense of caution and respect. The encounter with the honey badger had a lasting impact on the Scar, altering the way they viewed not just Earth, but the universe as a whole. They understood that there were forces and creatures in the galaxy that could not be easily categorized or dismissed. The honey badger, in its relentless defiance, had earned the respect of the Scar, becoming a reminder that even the smallest adversaries could be formidable. Earth, once an afterthought in their grand plans of conquest, was now a planet to be approached with caution. The Scar had learned a valuable lesson, one that would guide their actions in the future. The honey badger had become more than just a creature. It was a symbol of the strength and unpredictability of the universe, a lesson that the Scar would carry with them as they navigated their place in the galaxy.